Today on HTV, a debate swirls around a panhandler on the north side.
These birds provide a special brand of pet therapy.
A dedicated teacher helps a middle school choir reach new heights.
We find out what makes a Tesla so cool.
And see how the summer before high school took a shocking turn for this Hillcrest student.
All that and more on the December edition of HTV Magazine.
Stories by teens for teens since 1989.
And it all starts now. Hi, I'm Kaylin Klopfelter.
And I'm Brennan Williams. We begin with Kaylin's look at how a social media post got a lot of folks discussing panhandling in our city.
I talked to the man at the center of it all, who continues to fly his sign on North Glenstone, asking for help from strangers.
I heard that some of them make more money than my grandma would actually working hard for her money.
We went to McDonald's and we gave this guy who was out panhandling by McDonald's, and we gave him a $10 bill to see what he would do, and he went to the liquor store across the street.
They'll sit on the side of the street and ask for money all day when they could literally be getting a job.
Get a job. Get off the street. Opinions we found fast and easy when we asked about panhandlers. At most major intersections in Springfield, you can find people like Dennis Haskell, who ended up flying signs on the curb after a bout of bad luck.
The first time I panhandled, I needed like $60 to finish paying the rent. And so I did it, and I got the $60 in a matter of hours.
It's a humbling way to make money, and you encounter a lot of hostility.
Oh, I've been had human urine threw at me twice. They missed both times, thank God. Been sprayed with pepper spray. There are people who stake me out, try to make little plans to steal my money. You can be stabbed out here for $2.
A few weeks back, Dennis left his spot on the curb to take a short break. He left his belongings behind, and that's when the Greene County Sheriff drove by, took photos, and posted them on Facebook. The sheriff asked people to stop giving to panhandlers. All of a sudden, Dennis was in the middle of a public debate he didn't even know was happening.
They asked me, and I chose not to read it because there's no need to respond for anger. You know, the sheriff, I don't know, he needs to back up and see where he's getting his information, because every time he seems to open his mouth, he sticks his foot way down there. Yeah. Even maybe coming out the other end by now, but I want no trouble with the sheriff, and I have no hard feelings toward him.
But plenty of people have hard feelings about panhandlers being entitled. Dennis' mindset is a little different.
And the truth is, these people don't owe me nothing.
He doesn't feel entitled, but he does feel grateful.
Nobody's more thankful than I am. From giving me a few pennies to giving me $100. And everything they do is appreciated, is noted, and I just want to say thank you.
For HTV Magazine, I'm Kaylin Klopfelter, reporting. We reached out to the Greene County Sheriff for a comment about that story, but he didn't respond.
A couple of weeks ago, some feathered guests visited Hillcrest. It was an effort by a Springfield couple to get the word out about some special therapy, the kind only offered by their very colorful pets. Here's reporter Hannah Holland.
The Hoffmeister family came visiting, all 5 of them, Stephen and Juliana and their feathered threesome of Angel, Bridget, and Ferdinand. These birds are tamed and ready to provide comfort.
This is Angel.
The couple started the Flockhoff Foundation as a way to get the word out about the pet therapy that they offer. They also hang around the square now and then to reach out to more people.
Every time we go downtown is, you guys just made my night. Really? Or you made my weekend. And I'm like, you just held a bird for 2 minutes. That's all you did. And that made their day. Like, for me, it's a constant experience. But for them, yeah, it's a really special thing to do that. And so we love bringing that to people.
Birds are so unique, and lots of people have never held a bird before. And Bridget's all brightly colored, and Angel's so big, and it's such a unique experience. It can just make your day sometimes anyway.
The Hoffmeisters know they are in this for the long haul. It's a lot like raising kids.
Once Juliana was really upset about something, she was crying, and Angel hobbled over, like birds do, and grabbed her blanket and dragged it across the bed, brought it to her. It's her favorite blanket. He just dragged her the blanket because Like, it's that kind of thing. It's like, they're like 2-year-olds. They know when you're sad. They can take care of you.
Really? Hi.
There's a different interaction with birds. With a dog, you pet the dog, you play fetch or whatever. The bird can talk back to you. It can understand what you're saying, you know? That's one of the things that I like about the birds.
Stephen and Juliana want to reach out to more schools and organizations. They say they're standing by to let others enjoy the birds and see what a comfort they can be. They spend a lot of time and money to make it happen, but that's fine with them.
We get emotions from people. It's worth whatever money we put into it because we get the emotions, and you can't buy those.
For HTV Magazine, I'm Hannah Holland reporting.
If you're interested in having Angel and his 2 friends visit your group for no charge, you can find them on Facebook at facebook.com/flockhoff.
In June, AJ Fountain was having a great start to her last summer before high school, but that all changed fast, and she found herself in the fight of her young life. Here's Allison Green with the story.
Summer is the best time of year for most students, but for Audrey Fountain, it was anything but perfect.
I figured, oh, this is going to be a pretty fun summer. I kind of was making like a little bucket list, but then just kind of all didn't happen. The day that I had my seizure, I sat on the counter and I was drinking a glass of water, and then I heard things. I set the glass down, and then apparently I just hit the floor, and I don't remember anything until the point where I was in the ambulance trying to fight the people in the ambulance because I wanted out of there. After I got into the ER, I slept for a good while, and then I woke up. They took an MRI of my brain shortly after I woke up, and turns out that there was a tumor, and the pressure from the tumor was actually building up and causing me to have that seizure. And I had never had one before. So a few days later, they had it removed, and they were like, oh, it's benign, but we'll send it for testing anyways. And then we got the results back, and it turns out that it was cancer, either stage 2 or stage 3 astroblastoma. And astroblastoma only affects 1 in every 500,000. And I was that one person. After it was removed, I got treated for radiation in St. Louis for 6 weeks. But now I'm all clean, and I recently got an MRI, and brain's going back to the way that it used to be. But they don't know how long it was in there. They estimate probably 3 or 4 years.
When it was time to begin school, she was still in the midst of treatment.
I was able to go for the first 2 days, and then I went back to treatment, and then I came back in the middle of September.
Back at school, the word had spread, but not quite how she had expected.
There were rumors that I died, that I was paralyzed and stuff like that. And I texted them and told them about how it was cancer, and they were like, oh my God, you're lying, you're totally lying. And then when they finally found out, like as I was on my way to like St. Louis getting radiation, stuff like that, they were like, oh my God, this is real.
So what is it like at school for Audrey?
I feel like a normal high schooler for most of it. I feel different sometimes when I have to like miss out on something, like if I have to miss out on practice to go get an MRI or something. I'm like, I know I'm different than everybody else, but I feel the same. And I feel like I've built up a lot more courage and a lot more strength and things like that.
For HTV Magazine, I'm Allison Green reporting.
It's music to your ears if you're anywhere near the Reed Academy Choir. They've made quite a name for themselves thanks to their dedication, their talent, and the leadership of their amazing teacher, Daniel Gutierrez. Hayden Pyle visited with the man the kids call Mr. G for our next story.
5 years ago, Mr. G took over as choir teacher for Reed Academy, and since then, it's never been the same.
I just think I was really wanting to go to this community, this Northside community. That was what was most important to me. So the position that opened up around this parts was Reed Academy, and I thought that's where I want to be. I want to be at this school in the middle of the North Side, and I want to bring music to the best of my ability to these kids.
And through music, he transformed a choir class into a love for community, inspired by a college professor who simply told him that he could.
I think what it came down to is I didn't really know what I was going to do, and I didn't have much direction. There were some ideas that I had, but nothing I really knew for sure that I wanted to do until a teacher came up to me, and one of my college professors, and she said, I really think that you have the talent to be a music educator. And I was blown away by that. I even remember the color shirt I was wearing that day because it made such a profound influence on me. The fact that someone believed in me, that they thought I could teach music, I thought that was significant.
And that belief in him has translated into a belief towards his own students.
No, the goal is not to have any sort of national recognition or anything. It was never the goal. The goal is to have kids be passionate about something. And music is what I'm passionate about, so it's easy to communicate that to people.
The kids don't just view Mr. G as a teacher, but rather as a mentor, encouraging hard work but having fun while doing it, through the love of music.
I just kind of thought, oh, it'd be fun, like your average choir, the atmosphere and like how welcoming it was and like accepting it was. I feel like just Mr. G pushes us in ways like, other teachers can't. I feel like he's like hard on us and like expects us to do our best, and he makes it a positive like atmosphere and makes us all like positive about singing and choir, and like that we can do it and the kind of go do it attitude. And so yeah, just Mr. G in general, him and his attitude can like just make you feel better and want to keep pursuing music.
And that is something Mr. G has already accomplished. A passion for music in a place where it's not just about the music, it's about the people. For HTV Magazine, I'm Hayden Powell reporting.
Cars are getting more sophisticated all the time.
And driving them is getting easier and easier thanks to some automated features like those found in the Tesla.
It's a car many of us have heard about, but few of us have experienced.
HTV's Emily Peebles visited with the proud Tesla owner and took a ride for our next story.
What new wonders undreamt of in our time?
Mainly because it was like a big gadget. And so I like gadgets, and this was just a really big gadget that happens to be a car.
Jeff Britton is the proud owner of a car we've all seen in the commercials. The Tesla Model S Jeff owns was named Motor Trend's Car of the Year. It's a next-generation vehicle, and it costs just this side of $70,000.
It's really fast, and because it's electric, so it's always ready to go. And it was just totally different than any car that I had driven, so I thought, I might as well give it a shot and see how it goes.
The car has something called the summon mode.
Not being in the car, you can have it pull out of your garage and then pull back in. So they say that you can use that when you're parking. If it's a tight spot, then you can pull it in and then you can back up.
Jeff showed us how the car can steer itself in and out of parking spaces. The Tesla can do more than just park itself. It can drive itself completely.
Fully, I guess they call it autonomous driving. You can pull a lever back and it'll stay inside the lane and it'll make sure it doesn't hit a car. So it basically drives itself.
Jeff drives the Tesla every day to work. On the weekends, he sometimes goes old school.
My wife drives a minivan, and so on the weekends I drive that. And yeah, it's fine. It's totally different going to one that uses gas and is a normal engine. Elon Musk, who is the inventor of Tesla, he says that you can drive it from New York to LA with nobody in it at all, but there's no way that the government would let you do that.
What he's referring to are the restrictions placed on cars like the Tesla. Jeff thinks we are about 10 years out from the day these self-driving cars will be in the majority and not the exception.
We as humans don't always pay attention, and a computer always can. As long as there's not a bug or a glitch, then I think most of them will be doing it.
For HTV Magazine, I'm Emily Peebles reporting.
Business Insider magazine says cars capable of driving you from point A to point B with no assistance will debut in 2019.
It's basketball season, and in our next feature, reporter Sarah Hill checks out the Little Stingers. It's a program for the younger players who someday hope to grow up to be Hornets.
If you prepare now, that when they come to the high school level, we'll be competitive every year. The up and down sometimes that we go through, I feel like can be solved or be more level than if we get the youth more involved at a younger age.
My group, get on the orange line! Coach Justin Gerald knows all about getting involved in sports at a young age. He was a 4-sports star at Hillcrest himself, and now he's overseeing 5 teams of kids from 2nd to 6th grade in his Little Stingers program. All but a handful live in the Hillcrest district and practice here every Sunday afternoon.
At Hillcrest, we've always called the gymnasium the Hyper. That stands for Health, PE, and Recreation. But Hyper is a pretty good way to describe the Little Stingers.
I have a little experience in elementary PE, and this is kind of what it's like a little bit. They have tons of energy, and they usually are very open to instruction. So it's really easy to get them to do what you ask them to do because that's why they're here.
The teams play 10 games per session at the courts facility. The 5th grade boys have played in 2 tournaments and took home the gold in one of them. Parents of the Little Stingers appreciate Coach Gerald's organization and the way he teaches their kids.
He's been great. He's really positive, really outgoing. I think the conditioning they do at fundamentals is great for the kids.
Coach Gerald has a day job. He teaches at Hillcrest and he coaches the varsity Lady Hornets. And there are some girls playing alongside the boys on the Little Stingers. The success of the program should be realized soon, according to Gerald.
Especially the 5th and 6th grade boys, when they get to the middle school level, they're going to play very well together already, and I think they'll have some success as they go through the middle school basketball level.
All this noise would be a headache for adults who prefer a quieter Sunday afternoon.
I don't know how the heck he handles 30, 40 kids, however many are out here, but he does a great job with staying positive and being a really good role model for them.
For HTV Magazine, I'm Sarah Hale reporting.
There are a number of students at our school who volunteer in the community.
Some do it for credit, but in our next story we meet 2 girls who have gone above and beyond class requirements.
Here's Samson Cochran with the details.
It's funny how a little volunteering can make such an impact on the volunteer.
It affects me in many ways because I feel more connected to the world now.
Actually, we aren't talking about a little volunteering when it comes to Emily Jimenez and Abigail Wilkinson. These 2 juniors in Jessica Jordan's Live-In Law class took the volunteering requirements seriously when they signed up. They've gone above and beyond as childcare volunteers at the Developmental Center of the Ozarks. They were required to do 10 hours, they did over 30, and are still showing up.
I work with class 1, which is the 4 and 5-year-olds, so they're getting ready to go into kindergarten, so they're learning how to recognize their letters and names, and hopefully they'll be prepared socially to interact with other people who don't have any disabilities.
That's right. This isn't your normal daycare. The DCO provides care for kids with and without developmental disabilities. Abigail and Emily knew what they signed up for.
I'm in classroom 3 with the 3-year-olds, and as of right now, they're really just learning social behaviors and how to get along with people and how to express their feelings instead of just yelling and hitting.
I interact with them, so hopefully I'll help them make friends and learn how to resolve conflicts.
Yeah, we actually heard.
Mrs. Jordan has helped place hundreds of student volunteers through the years. Abigail and Emily definitely stand out.
What makes it so impressive, in particular with these girls, is that they've really taken it to heart and developed relationships with children. And they realize that these children now look up to them and that they're a part of their lives, and they're continuing that, and that's pretty cool.
They probably could have found a volunteer gig here in the building, but Emily says that was not her goal.
And I also really want to make a difference with the volunteer work rather than just oh, let's go do something for the school or something, because I'm here every day. Whereas for them it's impacting multiple lives at once without them really realizing it, and I get to make a difference and I can see the difference.
Jordan's students have logged almost 3,000 hours of volunteering in the last 7 years at over 100 community locations. She says her goal is to make her kids better citizens. Emily and Abigail are proof it's working.
It makes me really proud of these students because it makes me proud of them as individuals, but us as a building, and it shows our building culture, not only just to us within the building, but to those in the community and what Hillcrest is really all about.
For HTV Magazine, I'm Samson Cochran reporting.
That brings HTV Magazine to a close. We'll be back in a month with another new show.
Keep up with HTV on Instagram to see what's going on in our broadcast classes.
We also post a lot of content to our Facebook page, so follow us there.
I'm Kaylin Klopfelter.
And I'm Brennan Williams. We'll see you next time.